This is always so interesting to experience. There is this big ivy here, very old, and it's blooming, and there are always so many bees, and the buzzing is so strong, it's crazy. There are also hornets flying here. They like to hunt for honeybees, so it looks like it's a great spot for them because there is endless amounts of honeybees, so it's very interesting to observe all of this.
We've been dehydrating plums. This is our second jar so far this year. It goes very quickly because this big amount, this one big basket, is something you can pick basically in 15 minutes or something like that. It goes very quickly because the trees are full of plums, so you just stand on the ground and you don't even have to move, and you can pick this whole basket from one place. And when you're done, the tree still looks completely full. So we could basically do this forever, but we won't. We will just do a nice amount that will last us for a few years in case there are no plums next year or in 2 years. And we can even give some of them away to our families. Like my mom, she always appreciates dehydrated plums and apples, so we will probably bring some of them to her.
It's time to start harvesting our potatoes here that are growing in the old grass clippings. We are just starting. So far it doesn't look very great because they are kinda like half eaten by voles or slugs or something. We'll see how it goes later. Last year we had a great harvest. We were hoping for something like that again, but I don't know.
Here's a nice one.
So you just look in the old grass clippings, but wow.
A lot of them are eaten out. There's a lot of little bugs inside. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah, I see something.
I don't know what's eating them. Maybe it's multiple pests.
Oh my god.
They found the gold mine here. So there's not much left for us maybe, but we'll see.
But otherwise the harvesting is easy. The grass clippings are dry now, the potatoes are clean, and it goes quite fast.
Yes.
And this year has been quite cold, so not all of them are done yet, right? The plants.
Yeah, maybe we are here too early because the plants are still alive. Some of them are done, some of them are still growing.
Yeah, usually you wait for the leaves to kinda die off.
But Peter didn't want to wait anymore. He was
Yes.
anxious to
Yes.
start harvesting.
I was actually looking at the footage from last year's, not just last year, but from 2 years ago as well. And this time of the year, we've been already harvesting, or the potatoes were already harvested. So I got kinda in a little panic mode, like, oh my god, we are too late. We need to harvest the potatoes. But maybe not. But you know what the problem is? It should start raining in a few hours. A big rainy episode, a big amount of rain, and that's not great to harvest then, like after the rain. We don't know how it will go with the weather later, so it's easier when the conditions are dry. The potatoes are cleaner and, you know, it's just better. So that's why we started, and I don't know.
So at the end, there are more potatoes than it looked like at the beginning. It's not such a disaster.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as we dug them out, it started raining, so now they are all wet. But we anyway had to keep them out for 2 days or so to dry off, so we put them here in the barn.
For now. So they are not very pretty.
Yeah, not the best quality. They often have these scars,
Yeah.
carved something inside.
So we think it's probably because of voles. We even saw some of them running there, and we saw their tunnels as well. So voles are field mice, for those who don't know. And yeah, I'm sure these ones still will be tasty, even though in stores they will be like C grade or something, third class quality. So for us, totally tasty, I'm sure. And yeah, it's probably half the amount compared to last year.
Something like that. But we had more than we could eat, so maybe this year we'll just have a normal amount for us.
Yes, the old ones are still in the cellar. So they are sprouting and everything, but they are still edible. That's interesting. So they lasted a long time, and last year it was a huge success, the best harvest of potatoes for us. So this year it's not the best, but that's life, that's how it is in gardens.
Yeah, and it might still be the second best because the previous ones were even worse.
Yes, that's true.
Before we started growing them in hay.
Yes, when we started digging, we were like, oh my god, we will get like 5 potatoes, but in the end, it looks like a nice amount.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Wow, cold.
How's the last swim of the summer, probably?
Very cold, guys. Yes, this is the last summery weekend of this year. Looks like it should get colder in 2 days, and then the summer will be over. You can see the shadow here, the shadow of the house. It's going quite close to the barrel, so you can see the sun is quite low already. It's a big difference compared to the height of summer.
And on Monday the autumn comes, astronomically.
Yes, exactly. What's interesting is that this year the weather will be in sync with the astronomical time, because a cold front is coming on Monday as well. So then the weather will get quite colder and rainy and everything. So that's like autumn is really coming. That's what autumn should be like. Not this summer, this weekend we got so lucky. It's amazing. So we have to enjoy this. Tommy is not going here in the barrel. No way. So I'm not promoting this right, probably. I should have said how warm this is. Oh my god, I am so surprised. This is so warm. I'm basically boiling here. No, the water doesn't want to get warm at all here in this barrel. So yeah, but I am very refreshed. I've collected 2 more bags of apples
mostly fallen on the ground, so we wouldn't do anything with them anyway. So it's quite a lot of them, I think. And we will carry them to our neighbors, so they would make apple cider out of them for us. We would just want a little bit and we will leave the rest with them because we don't drink it as much, but it's still a nice bonus from fallen apples.
Come take a quick look into our storage room. I was picking pears. So far, I have picked 3 big baskets, and it's an interesting variety. I don't know if that's how it is with all varieties of pears, but on the main big tree we have Bosc pears. They are ripe botanically, I guess. You have to pick them because otherwise a lot of them would fall down. But they are not ripe enough for eating. So you can see it here. These ones are the new ones. They are green. 4 of these thingies. And these ones are older. I was picking these ones earlier and they are getting yellow. So after some amount of days, up to a few weeks, you need to wait. And then they are delicious, sweeter and amazing. So we need to wait for these ones to get ripe here, and then we will process them. We will probably dehydrate the majority of pears because that's my favorite dehydrated fruit. Pears are amazing, very sweet and yummy. So hopefully it will be all okay, because here you never know, they can get bad or something. And also I will be picking more because this year, of course, as with all the fruits, the tree is full of pears, but I need a taller ladder because that's where the remaining fruits are, high up.
Our garden beds have never looked this full at the end of September, like this year. It's almost the end of the season and we have a lot of stuff everywhere.
It looks great.
So let's take a look. We have some lettuces here. We had one yesterday for dinner, so we still have several left. And there are new ones growing here as well. We'll see if they will still have time to grow before the frosts come, but we should still have a month left, so we'll see.
Sometimes some of them survived even the winter.
Yeah, and then we can eat them in March.
Yeah.
And we have very nice big radishes here. And Peter asked me to pick 2 for him for today's lunch.
Yes, I love radishes, so I will be feasting on this.
We were just saying that a lot of stuff in our garden grows much better in autumn than in spring. For some reason, like everything bolts, it doesn't want to sprout in the spring and everything. So that's why I tried growing a lot of stuff, like spring stuff in autumn this year, including these.
Yeah. The conditions are also bad in summer because it's too warm, too hot, everything is bolting. And then in autumn, the conditions are better.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have a new batch of arugula. Again, looks amazing.
So
now
lush.
in autumn, and we have so much of it. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had this much of arugula.
We did, I think. Yeah, and those are the seasons that I love because arugula is my favorite, one of my favorites, and it's always great when I can pick endless amounts.
Yeah, that's what you need with everything.
Yeah.
Next to it we have peppers. We don't have unlimited amounts of those. We have just 9 plants, so we have only some peppers to pick, but we don't mind. We don't eat that many of them, so for us it's enough. Or I could try more next year, but not too much more. Here we have horseradishes. You might remember last year we had like this big radishes.
Yes, yes.
And this year I planted them a little bit later, so they are smaller, but they are growing quickly. I'm looking at them now and they are already, well, they're not huge because they can be like this big, but it's already a nice size.
They are normal, so
Yeah.
maybe even better for eating than the big, enormous ones.
And they will continue to grow in October, so we should start eating them probably.
Yes.
Here next to them I tried another batch of kale. So autumn kale, again growing into a nice size already. So we have a lot of leaves to harvest and they will survive the winter. So we can pick them during winter as well and into spring. So that's why we plant them, so we have greens all year long basically.
Yes.
And we have some, there is a leek growing out of the path somehow, and a few more leeks here. These are the perennial leeks or something, and we tried transplanting some of them to another part of the garden, but these are the remains. This one's empty, but next we have regular annual leeks. So these are now growing into the adult size. There are already some that we can start harvesting, but again, we usually harvest them during winter when there's not much stuff left in the garden. So at the moment we have other things to eat.
It looks like we are very ready for winter.
Yes. People ask us like if we have already wintered the garden. It's like people in October get rid of everything and they just
Close down the shop.
yeah, exactly. And we never end. We always have something to harvest.
Yes,
We don't
you
do
should
that.
also have things for winter.
But I am wintering this garden bed. I'm trying for those beds where we don't grow anything. I'm putting grass clippings on top so they would decompose and enrich the soil. So
Yes.
we'll see if
Yes,
it will be
and
better here.
I think you are winterizing. I think that's the word.
Okay,
And-
sounds even cooler.
Oh my god, I see red strawberries.
Yeah,
Normal strawberries. So
nice
this
size
is
even.
like they are fruiting for the second time
Yeah, here
this
as well.
year. That's unusual, but sometimes plants are, I don't know, crazy.
yeah, like we have flowers going the second time in the meadow as well.
Yeah, sometimes it's too dry in summer, and then when it rains a lot, they like get a second life.
Or when it gets warmer again.
Yeah.
But strawberries do that every year, but usually just like 1-2 plants. And this year there's more of them, so we've already had a few handfuls of
Yes.
strawberries
Yes,
in September.
they are very, very yummy. I love how they look.
And you can see I'm also creating new ones because I will get rid of the oldest ones. So here probably I will plant new ones again. So we always like move them by one garden bed.
Yes, so they get old quite quickly, like not in decades, but
No.
in years, right?
They say 2 to 4 years. I think we've had them, the oldest ones, for even 5 years, and they were still producing fruit, but we will plant new ones, so we will have even more.
Yes.
So we have a lot of strawberries here. And here we have autumn batch of spinach. You can see it's growing quite unevenly. That's because I kept spring spinach here until it bolted and it had seeds. And then I just basically, when I was getting rid of it, I was just hitting the ground with the old plants. And the seeds grew here like on their own for free.
So that's great. We are reusing our own plants.
Yeah.
Always keeping the seeds, and here we have the new generation.
Yeah. Brussels sprouts, we had them last year for the first time. So I tried again. They were almost destroyed by pests in the summer, but they survived. But I think they're a little bit small. But they're trying to create it's not fruits, but the part you eat.
Little balls of
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts, little sprouts, maybe.
Yeah. So there will be probably a few in the winter to eat for 1 or 2 meals and that will be it.
Good.
I'm still working on that and trying to improve.
Yeah.
And here, for the first time, I'm trying growing second batch of peas in autumn. So the peas are growing. Again, they still have 1 more month approximately. Peas like cold weather, so maybe in October they will grow more, and I'm just trying to see if they will have the pods to eat. It's old seeds from last year, so I would throw it out probably anyway.
Yes.
So it's,
Why
just,
not?
Yeah, exactly.
And tell us about these yellow thingies, for those who don't know.
That's for the pests, to catch them and kill them.
Catching various flies and
some
like
bugs or insects.
Yeah, so these ones are sticky.
So I used these to save the plants, and it worked. It's full of pests, but it's not working anymore. I don't think it's sticky anymore. A little bit.
Okay.
But in the rain and stuff, it stops working eventually.
Yeah, we can replace them.
Yeah. And here I was trying beetroot for the first time. We already harvested 2 or 3 pieces, and it was good. So yeah, they are still growing, it seems. So we are keeping them in the ground, and we just take 1 or 2 whenever we want to.
Yes.
Maybe next year I'll try again, because it looks not difficult. Just plant it and water it.
Yeah.
And in the raised beds, here I didn't grow anything this year. That's a new bed, so I just put some soil in it when I found some in the garden. And now at the end of the year I also put a pile of grass clippings on top, again to enrich the soil and prepare it for next year, so it's just extra space. Here this is currently empty. We had some lettuce here, and here we have 2 small raised beds of carrots. They are still growing probably, but I think they will be small as usual. I see some carrots, but I still haven't figured out how to plant or how to grow really big carrots.
Yeah, in stores the carrots are always enormous.
Yeah, but in stores everything is enormous, and it's usually not the case when you grow things naturally.
Yeah. So this will be not as enormous, but more delicious.
But last year we had amazing carrots, and it was a different variety, and I didn't buy that because the seeds were expensive, but maybe that's how you do it. And on several garden beds we have also dill growing on its own. It just self-seeds randomly, and sometimes I pull it out when it's somewhere where I don't like it, but if it's not in the way I just keep it there, and I think Peter randomly harvests it for some meals if he feels like it.
Yes. So we use the leaf stuff. They are not exactly leaves, but the green parts, because you can also harvest seeds, I think.
I think you can even do the whole flower or seeds, I guess, when you pickle cucumbers, for example.
Yes. But I haven't done it yet with the seeds or flowers. So
no time.
Maybe in the future.
Here in the back we have 2 cauliflowers left. This one started creating a head, and we listened to your advice. Some of you were saying that when it starts creating the head you should cover it with the leaves. So this is our attempt. We'll see if you guys were right or if you were BSing us. And this one is not yet creating a head, but it has a lot of leaves. Interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see if these 2 will make it in time, because colder days are coming.
Yeah. And one more thing that I'm trying for the first time is an autumn batch of kohlrabi. We always do them only in the spring, but I wanted to try it. And it looks like it should be successful because this one is already creating a head. The other ones are behind, but again, they like colder weather, I think, so we'll see.
Yeah, and it looks so dry here again. Guys, you are always worried. It rained so much, like totally above a normal amount.
Yeah.
But the surface of the soil looks dry, almost constantly.
Yeah,
even
that's
though
what garden looks like if you don't water it
Yeah.
every day. At least that's my experience.
Yeah.
But if you dig, then it's wet underneath.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. So you don't have to be worried. We are not in a desert. This is okay. Everything is growing and just the surface is dry. Because like people, when they are showing gardens on YouTube, everything looks always so better. But we can see results in our garden. So the soil doesn't have to look very pretty and beautiful and I don't know, but things are still growing. There is wetness like directly above, under the surface. Guys, this is what we wanted to have here. And ta-da!
We wish.
We wish. This is not ours. We got this melon, watermelon, from one of our neighbors. She was saying, I just threw some seeds and they grew so nicely. So this is one of the results. Great. Look at ours. Still very, very small. Here is one and here is the second one. And like the weather, the good weather is ending. So these ones probably it will be nothing.
But it's some kind of dwarf variety, so I wonder how big they should be.
But probably not like this.
Probably bigger than an apple.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you that it's possible to grow watermelons here, but we haven't been successful yet. Maybe next year we'll
This is
see.
our first attempt, so the second one will be better.
Yes, yes, you always have to learn, and this year the spring was very challenging. Risk of late frosts for too long, so the growing season, the warm one, was too short. And this is the cider made from our apples. The neighbor wanted to give us more, but we didn't want it because it's a lot. So, wow, it's amazing. I just wanted to clarify, here in the Czech Republic, cider is the alcoholic drink made from apple juice, but in the US, cider is just like non-alcoholic, the juice from apples. So hopefully I read that correctly on the internet. So this is non-alcoholic cider. I was pasteurizing again everything, so we will put this into our cellar and it should last for some time.